Item 2, consideration to convene public hearing pursuant to ARS 1509, 151103 review and allow comments for budget revision fiscal year 25-26. Ms. Walden.
Hello.
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 Good evening, President and board members. I have a presentation to go over our revision, our first revision for this budget year. So I kept it the same. Maybe that's good, maybe it's bad, maybe it gets boring. But anyway, I kept it the same kind of so that we would know what we're doing.
Coming from the finance.
So, there's several items that go into making the budget. The ADM, or the average daily membership, the Group B weights, or those are the special categories that we get a little extra money for, M&O, and DAA, or capital. So what I've done here is I've copied what I presented for the adopted budget, and then also I'm showing you the difference here for what's on revision 1. So we did get some extra kids with the statewide recalc for last year, which I think they do in October or November. So anyway, that adds to our funding for this year. So we were at 8,234.8461, and now we're at 8,249.4787. I still left the budget at a decrease of 1.5% because we want to be conservative, right? Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. So this is the Group B weighting. So for the adopted budget, there was 14,711.3275. And then there was, I think, quite a bit of a change here for the revision 1. But this is all based on the state and the numbers that they came up with. So we did go up a little here in some ESS categories, as well as in our free and reduced population. This is the Group B weights, in case you wanted to see what the difference is for some of those weights. Okay. So what's the impact? So for the fiscal year 26 adopted budget, we showed $72,955,15, and now we're showing $76,179,560. That's a difference of $3,224,445. That includes the fiscal year 25 rollover, as well as growth in that ESS group and free and reduced count. So the impact for DAA, or capital, the adopted budget showed $7,315,745. The revision shows $9,302,899. So that's a difference of an increase of $1 million, almost $2 million. So this is the prior year carry forward. Okay, so these are how the budgets looked. So the fiscal year 26 adopted budget, the budgeted expenditures I have listed there, and then the limit. You'll notice there's a difference between those budgeted expenditures and the limits, and it's based on the money that we're saving back to have carry forward for the following year, okay? So our limit is higher, but we're budgeting for less. And then our revision shows exactly what we just went through, those changes from the adopted budget to the revision. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
No question.
1 month in the general meeting. No questions.
Okay, this will be an action item on the regular board agenda.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. All right. Item 3 is call to the public. At this time, if there's anybody that would like to speak on the budget. Oh. None? All right, we don't have any. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Okay, so So with that, I will adjourn the meeting. Everybody hear me all right? All right. It is 5:45, December 9th. I call this meeting to order. First order of business is Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. If you could stand with me, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 1.2, adoption of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. President, I move that we adopt the agenda as written.
All right.
I second it.
All right. Moved by Mr. Stoner, second by Mr. O'Barr. Is there any questions or discussion?
No.
There being none, I will vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Item 2, reports, board report. Are there any reports? We'll start on this side.
Got to enjoy a Thanksgiving celebration at Dorothy Hall a couple weeks ago, and was an awesome opportunity with the fourth graders to have lunch with them and other parents. And as I helped serve food, I asked the fourth graders what they were thankful for, and it was pretty incredible, the answers from these 9 and 10-year-olds. Some of them talked about the air, recess, but a lot of them just, it was cool that they love their school or their friends, and a week off. So they wanted me to make sure I knew they appreciated the week off for Thanksgiving. And then I got to watch a lot of soccer and basketball the past month, because that's the sport that's in season for the junior highs. And fortunately just watched Gila Vista get beat up pretty bad by Woodard tonight before this meeting. But pretty cool to see the parent involvement that was there, and the girls trying to figure out how to play basketball. So it's been an interesting season, and it's been fun to see them trying a new activity.
So as I alluded to last month, we have a pretty good thing going on over at Woodard Junior High, and I've been working with Mrs. Alonso on that. There will be a dodgeball tournament fundraiser that they're going to be having over at Woodard Junior High Gym January 10th, and we are hopeful that everybody will come out, parents, participants, teachers, staff, everybody. Go out and raise some funds for their school. It's going to be for the band, it's going to be for the dance club, and it's going to be for library improvements. And I'm proud to say that currently we are at $15,000 raised.
Okay. All right, November 19th, I was invited by Ms. Johnson at Price Elementary for a Thanksgiving meal. Again, it was really nice seeing the parents enjoy the meal with their children. Very, very nice day there at Price. On the 21st, I went and visited Palmcroft to spend a day in Miss Monica Gill's class. And the first thing I observed when I was parking my vehicle, I saw the principal, Jeanette Avicio, and Jason from our maintenance department, and Mr. Acosta, sandbagging. They were sandbagging the school, working hard, getting ready for the storm. As we know, we have Lake Palmcroft out there, and it's just something that needs to be addressed. And I thank you, Mr. Ponder and Mr. Ware, for hearing me out on the situation they have with the flooding out there. Thank you so much. I also met with custodian Ed Sandoval, who's worked for the District 1 for 36 years. He's a custodian. He was there at Atondo for 10 years, and the rest of the time at Palmcrofts. I pretty much spent the afternoon in Mrs. Gill's class, Monica Gill's class. He teaches 2nd and 3rd grade class, ESS. Paraprofessionals Edith Casada and Arlie Valencia worked one-on-one. They did an excellent job monitoring the students. I was really impressed on how Ms. Gill multitasks. She's teaching 2nd grade and 3rd grade at the same time. While she's teaching the students on the board, the 2nd graders on the board, the 3rd graders are engaged with their iPads. And anytime the class was getting a little bit out of hand, all she had to do is say, class, class, and everyone responded, yes, yes. So it was nice to see that. I just strongly recommend, if you have a chance, I know Mr. Stoner spent the entire day there, and you're right, she has to have eyes behind her head, and she's constantly, I'm talking constantly, working and being engaged. Her desk, again, doesn't even have a chair. So it was really nice to see that, and I'm really impressed with the dedication of our teachers and our paraprofessionals and our custodians. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 2.21, donation recognition. Mr. Ponder.
Mr. President, members of the board, so we did receive some donations this month. We had $300 for O.C. Johnson, $1,375 for Palmcroft, $298 for Roosevelt, $175 for Castle Dome, $55 for Ron Watson, and then $205 for the district to distribute for some items that we received. So that's a total of $2,408.53. So that brings our year-to-date total to $53,827.34.
Outstanding community.
Yes.
Thank you. 2.22, art recognition. Mr. Ponder.
So this month's display showcases artwork created by students at Sunrise Elementary School. The students used line, shape, and color to create self-portraits for our K-5 art collaboration. This project highlighted each student's individuality and the important role they play in our school community. Our third graders designed 3D hot air balloons inspired by Yuma's local festival, while fourth graders became papier-mâché pros as they crafted pop art inspired donuts. Throughout the process, students demonstrated strong art studio habits of planning, creating, and finalizing their projects with care.
Thank you. All right. Item 3.1, enrollment report. Ms. Walden.
Good evening, Mr. President and Governing Board. If you'll see there in your booklet, the enrollment report is at 0.90% down, which is looking well from the beginning of the year. We're recovering well there. And just a reminder that I did budget at 1.5 decrease, so we're still good. Any questions?
No, thank you. All right. Item 3, district financial trends. Ms. Walden.
Governing Board President and Governing Board. Looking at the financial trends, we look good. Haven't had a lot of change from the last 2 months. Next month, I will bring you an updated beginning budget balance for M&O and capital or DAA. And that's all there really is to say about that, unless you have questions.
No questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3.3, classroom behavior support update. Mr. Acosta.
Mr. President, I would like to yield my time to the lady in the red vest and the red jacket, Ms. Leanne Lagunas.
Okay, well, teacher voice, there we go. I'm happy to report that last Friday in this very room, Mr. Dios and I gathered with the 5 principals of our pilot schools. We interviewed many highly qualified candidates. They participated in a writing prompt, and then they were interviewed with questions to the panel. At the end of the day, we were able to select 5 highly qualified candidates. I'm happy to say that 4 of them were internal, so we do have talent here within that's going to be moving on into this next phase. So next plan is we're processing their transfers and the hire of the 1 external. We are developing a training plan, and our target date for them to start is January 12th, the first day back after our Christmas break.
Nice.
Excellent.
Looking
It's
forward
nice
to it.
having internal candidates, but it also creates the void. So I know you're working on that. All right, thank you. Item 4, call to the public. The governing board welcomes statements from residents and appreciates constructive suggestions and comments that help meet the education needs of the district. The completed form should be submitted before the meeting, the day of the meeting, which is traditionally the second Tuesday of the month. We have 2 of them. Any additional ones, Rika? Okay. Lourdes Lopez.
Hi, good evening. My daughter was a pre-K student at Arizona Western College Child Development Center, October and September of 2024. She has a mobility disability and uses a walker. While attending AWC, Ms. Sylvia Argaiz, her teacher, did not allow her to use her walker inside her classroom. Not only was her walker in her IEP, her teacher was asked multiple times to make space so she could get around in her walker. The walker was kept in a separate room and on one occasion, and they failed to send it home on the bus with her, again asking, does she really need the walker? She was singled out multiple occasions, and comments were also made on more than once. Even though that is only a part of the discrimination that my daughter endured, I will only focus on the use of her walker. My daughter uses her walker not only for walking, but to stand, dance, jump, and carry things in her little basket. As a result of Ms. Argaiz's actions, my daughter was denied the ability to move safely and freely and was effectively singled out and excluded from full participation in class. I believe this is a disability discrimination and a violation of Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act and the Americans with Disabilities Act, which requires schools to provide reasonable accommodations, allow necessary mobility devices. As a result, we removed my daughter from class, waiting for accommodation. They took weeks to organize a meeting. The school principal and the special needs director was present along with Ms. Argaiz at said meeting. They insisted we kept my daughter in that classroom, but we declined afraid of retaliation. The district then failed to accommodate her to another classroom or school, claiming there was no space. They then informed me that they would be dropping my kid from the school year because of missed attendance. I believe that was retaliation for speaking up. I am requesting that my daughter be allowed the use of her walker, a wheelchair, or a mobility device at all times. I request disciplinary action towards the staff involved in the discrimination. I request that all staff receive training on disability rights and accommodations, and that the school and district put in writing how they will prevent this from happening again to my daughter or any other child. I am requesting support, oversight, and follow-up not just as this institution, but across Yuma County, as I have been made aware through social media that we are not the only family who's struggling with the Yuma County School District Department of Special Education. Even though what happened to my daughter was last year, I am speaking now to ensure that this does not happen to her again, and that she has the access not only to equal access and education, but that she is treated with dignity and respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Irma Felix?
PKAWC.
Yeah, that's what she said.
What I heard.
Well, we've made a terrible habit out of this, haven't we? So I want to start off with a fun fact this evening. And that is that me and Rosario last year started off wanting to just participate at the site council because we contacted Little Tykes and won a grant. So we just wanted to introduce our fundraising campaign. Till this day, our principal has denied us the right to our parental rights and to participate. As you all know, we have gone months and months, and you just now implemented what we had requested. The other thing we had requested was a right to due process and the state to intervene because of the blatant violations that we found this district doing. For example, Title I. And the fact that it has failed to inform parents what Title I is. The fact that we have a right to be a part of that decision-making process. And yet I've had no answers, no responses, and I was asked to give the superintendent 30 more days on top of the 60 days that he's already had. Now, how is that protecting our students and honoring parental rights? It's not. You're zero interest in protecting our students or the parents. When you get sworn in as a public officer, it is your duty to do that. Does this office have a special power that it can deny me my due process? No. The answer is no, you don't. Every municipal court, every superior court will grant everybody their due right process and a right to an impartial hearing. My violations were legitimate because you implemented them, and still you're failing to grant us an impartial hearing. So it was brought to my attention that there was a survey for Title I and the migrants of Title I. And according to the Arizona Department of Education, parents should also have a Title I survey done annually. I have not seen one for 2 years. If anybody would care to enlighten me as to why the district has failed to put those out, that would be good. There has been zero disciplinary action regarding any of the violations that we have found. Zero. Towards the principal, towards the superintendent. None. It's your job to govern and to hold people accountable that are lawless and reckless. And you're failing to do that. I am requesting the state to intervene. These are blatant violations that should not be occurring in our district. Thank you.
Right, is there anybody else that would like to come call to the public? All right. Item 5, consent agenda. Approval of these items are of a routine nature and those that normally do not require deliberations on part of the governing board. A board member may pull items which will be discussed and voted on separately. At this time, do we have any items to be pulled from the consent agenda?
No.
No? All right. Do we have a motion?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consent agenda as written.
I second.
Okay. All right, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 6, action items. Discussion and possible action regarding complaint forms and their accessibility. Mr. Stoner.
All right, thank you, Mr. President, and everybody being here, thank you for being here. In our ongoing conversation since August 13th board meeting, we've had discussed various complaint situations, how complaints are being handled, how, when, and where to use complaint forms related to the official complaint process. There are several complaint forms to be utilized during the official current complaint process. And during these conversations, it's been discovered that these forms are not readily available in paper form in the school or admin offices for the most part. Rather, those wishing to file the complaints are told to find them online or to email their complaint. So tonight, I am moving that policy forms, and it's going to be extended here because I did pull them all out. Policy form JB, I would like to have regulation and exhibit. So JBR, JBE. JICEC, JICEC exhibit. JICFA regulation. JICFA exhibit A and exhibit B. JICK regulation. JICK exhibit A and exhibit B. JII regulation. JII exhibit A and exhibit B. JLCD regulation. JLCD exhibit. KE regulation. KE exhibit. KEB regulation. KEB exhibit. KEC. KEC exhibit. KED regulation, and KDE all be available in paper form in the schools and in the administrative office in the event that a parent or staff needs to file a complaint or a student needs to file a complaint after going through the proper channels and not finding resolution. I'd like to have these available for them to be able to use effective immediately. I'd like for these official complaints to be accompanied by the official complaint form, or they should be. All official complaints shall be accompanied by an official complaint form. All official complaint forms shall be readily available in the proper form at all schools' offices as well as the district office. The corresponding regulation shall accompany that complaint form, basically to give the instruction of what that complaint form is, because there's so many of them that I understand there can be confusion. The district office, the corresponding regulation form shall accompany the form. I talked to that. I would also like to see that these forms are, we talked about this at the last meeting, put on our district website, not on the ASBA website. And I'd like for them to be on the front page of the website so that they're easily located instead of trying to thumb through a bunch of different pages to try to find it where it's buried and you just can't find it for most people that are computer illiterate like me. I further request that these forms are readily available, effective on the link, like I just said. And for the teachers, I would like to see that these forms JK, JK regulation, JKEA, EB, and EC are also available in their classroom if they aren't already there. I'd like to have an answer on that if they are in the classroom, so then when a teacher has to send a student to referral, is that referral form actually in their classroom so they don't have to leave the classroom to go get it from the admin office and be able to take care of business the way they need to do?
That was a motion?
Yes, that was my motion. I move that we put the stated regulations and exhibits in paper form in the school offices, administrative offices, and the forms for the teachers to be in the classrooms.
If there's a second, there's a discussion, then a vote. Do we have a second?
Yes. I second that Mr. Stoner's proposal.
All right, so moved by Mr. Stoner, seconded by Mr. Ibarra.
Mr. Stoner.
Yes, yeah, this is the discussion point.
Discussion. Mr. Stoner, you've gone with all these forms. Would it be possible to have a general form? And I'm aware of these because we, at the police department.
Right?
Yes.
It was, I agree 100%.
Police department, when you had a complaint on an officer, you'd come in, we'd give you a complaint form. You would write your information, and then you would write a synopsis in handwriting of that complaint. It was up to our IA to determine what policies or laws were violated, at least get a jump start on what policies and procedures were violated within our department. I'm assuming with something like this would be a form that would be at the front office, in the classroom, where a person can, again, being computer illiterate, I know what you mean. They would come in, fill out their complaint, write a synopsis, and then go through the chain of command. Is that something that would be possible, or are we talking about having all those individual forms that you just mentioned available for someone to pick up and lodge a complaint?
So basically, I'm working off of the ASBA policy, and unfortunately, the ASBA policy has complaint forms in all different segments. We have education, equal educational opportunities was one of them. That was the JB. Freedom of expression, JICEC. Hazing, JICFA. Bullying, harassment, and intimidation, JICK. Student concerns, complaints, and grievances, JII. Medicines, where you need to send a paper requesting that your student or that your child can take certain medication at the nurse's office. That's JLCDR. I'm sorry, JLCD. Public concerns and complaints, Form KE. Public concerns and complaints about personnel, KEB. Public concerns, complaints about instructional resources, KEC. Public concerns, complaints about facilities and services, KED. And then for the teachers, student discipline form, JK. So unfortunately, I am bringing these all to the board like this because that's the way that they are in the ASBA policy. This right now, what I'm asking for tonight is that effective immediately, these are going to be available in paper format. Do I want to have a single form, a one-size-fits-all that you can go in and then let it go from there so that somebody doesn't fill out one form and it was a mistake and then they have to go back and refill it out all over again because it was the wrong form? I would love to see a one-size form that says it's a general form like you said. But to do that, I believe that we would have to go through the policies of having that written, having that approved, and we've been through this before where that can end up being a long, drawn-out process to make it happen while we're waiting for these to be available for the parents.
So just for a point of clarification, these are not ASBA's policies, these are our policies. So we control the content of the policy. If the board wishes to adjust our policy to incorporate a single complaint form, that's well within our rights.
How long would it take to do that process?
We'd establish the form. You have your first read of the policy changes, and then the next general meeting, you have the adoption of those changes to the policy.
Right.
If it's as straightforward as establishing a single form that has the critical information. Now, I've done some research since then. There are, anything that falls under IDEA has specific federally mandated data points that have to be collected on the form. So you can either do one that falls under that and a general, or if the data points on the IDEA complaint form are sufficient to be added to a general, then you can use for both. For clarification, probably want to separate those two. If you wanted to go to a single form, you'd end up with two. I have looked, and I think Scottsdale Unified School District has a general form that they use. A couple other districts in the state do that, and I think it's a simplicity thing. I really don't want to task our parents with reading through all of that to figure out which document they need to turn in.
Exactly, yeah, I agree, it's very confusing, or it can be.
What can happen, right, you can modify the motion to develop a single form. That gets voted on. If that's approved, then that's the motion on the table. If it gets approved, then Mr. Ponder is tasked with establishing a single form, and we will come to the next meeting as a first read. We get to review it. If everything's on it that we all agree upon, that it has all the information, satisfies all the needs, next board meeting, February, it would be adopted.
Yeah, so what are we doing then in the next 60 days until then, without these being, basically what I'm going back to on our last meeting is the parents that I've talked to that have come to me and I've redirected them back to the teacher, back to the principal, back to the superintendent, they returned back to me that they were told that the forms were not available. They were told, email us instead. They were told, go to the website and find it when it's not on the district website. It is in fact on the ASBA website. That's why I said it's the ASBA,
Right.
because we adopted the ASBA.
In our last meeting, I asked specifically to Mr. Ponder if those forms would be made available both digitally or in paper upon request, and your response was yes, that it would be. So that is already satisfied?
Okay. So if that's already being satisfied, then I would love to see it in a single form. I just want to make sure that our parent, basically, I'm looking at this in a business perspective.
Right.
Parents are, and children are our customers. Education is a business. And if we aren't going to give our customers what they want, they're going to leave.
Right.
And if we're not treating them the right way and giving them the information that they are trying to, or the resolution to a problem that they're having, they're going to leave.
Yes.
And so my answer to this is, well, if I'm being told that these paper forms are not available and they're being told to go find it on your own or to email us, that's the email. I understand date and time stamps, but it's not this official complaint form that you're looking for. Then it goes into the fact of putting it into into the customer file, the parent file. These forms could be easily put into those files once they're filled out. The emails, they could get lost. They could get, not really lost in a sense, but when you have a sea of, a couple hundred emails that you're dealing with, it takes time to deal with those.
Mm-hmm.
These I would like to see readily available when a parent comes in. And if the answer is yes, that it is readily available right now, then great. That would be a wonderful thing. But that's not the answer that I've been getting from the parents. And that's why I was
Since our
bringing
last
this.
board meeting?
I haven't had that conversation with the parents since the last board meeting.
So we got confirmation, right, was put Mr. Ponder on the spot, specifically asked him directly if those are going to be available in the exact same form. Now, I didn't include the regulation, and we can do that if, I think it's valuable to have both the complaint form and the regulation, at least until if we get to a single form, because I think that's just a much simpler, where you get to check the box. I don't know where this falls under, but this is what happened and this is my complaint. That takes the pressure off of the parent from having to read through that stack right there.
Yeah.
And understand
stack
it's all
right there.
written in legal jargon. Much simpler here, here's a piece of paper, fill out what happened, what you've done. And that way, then put the responsibility back on the administration, who should be the experts. Okay, here's the situation, that falls under this regulation, therefore we're classifying it under this one or these three. Right? So put the experts in charge of where it falls under, not the parents.
Right. I couldn't agree more with that.
I think that would simplify the process fold.
Okay.
Just one thing to clarify, we can have those forms available, no problem. I don't have them, and I haven't given that directive yet because we were waiting to figure out exactly which forms that Mr. Stoner was interested in having readily available across all of our schools. So that hasn't happened yet, but now that we have the list of the ones that he read out today, we can make sure that those are readily available.
it's
I thought we were gonna maybe amend the motion though, so.
Right.
We
Yeah,
could, but I was just
but
clarifying what Keith had mentioned, where that should be happening at all the schools, and
I think
not
he means
yet.
that you'd be able to print them upon request and they're readily
Yeah,
available.
and I don't want to limit it to just that. Any parent that walks into one of our schools, if they want section whatever from our policy, we should print it for them.
Sure.
Excuse me, whether it be a complaint form or, what are the rules of the board, whatever it is, right? And I completely agree with Jeff that, customer service is extremely important, and that's how you retain people in your area of expertise, which is school to business. So when they come in and say, hey, you know what, I'm really confused on that, I need you to print that for me. We need to print it for them. Whether it be any of those or other complaint forms, any form within the 990 pages of our policy, I do not think it's good business to send people back with a link to say, here's 1,000 pages, thumb through it, find what you're looking for, and then bring it back to us. we should have the knowledge and the experience to be able to narrow it down and say, here you go. That is our role and responsibility, and I think we owe it to our parents. So, just so we understand, anything that a parent, if they want the 900 pages, then we probably need to consider whatever the, I mean, there's, yeah, we could send the link, and yeah, there are costs associated with that, but if it's just, I need this regulation for a couple of complaints or this, we should be able to do that. We have we can handle 10 pages without having to fill out a form to charge them for 10 pages, so we do have that clarified.
Okay, perfect. Well, with that then, yes, if that's the case and these can be available starting tomorrow, if a parent requests it and they get it, then I'm happy with that, and I would like to modify my request.
Thank you. Yes.
So, okay, I'd like to modify my request that we make a single form, not necessarily one size fits all, but a multifaceted form that a parent or student or staff member can use as their complaint, request, whatever they would like to use that for, to be able to resolve their issue in a formal format.
Okay. We have a second?
I second it.
Mr. Ibarra?
I have a,
Okay.
I just want to, last board meeting, there was a director from Keith with your request for the future agenda item that you were going to provide which forms beforehand. So I was looking for that in the action items, and it wasn't. It was just a one sentence. And so today was the first time I heard of all the forms. So for the next one, I just expect and would love to be able to do a review before we get into a meeting. So whatever that one pager, I think we're all speaking the same, like we're all in agreement what we want, but like for us to know what 25 policies and what it all says, like that didn't give us enough time if we went down that road. But now we're going to this other road. But before the meeting, to be more prepared, we need to have a draft of it beforehand.
That's understood, and what I did tell them is that I would come to the board with these, is what my statement was at the last meeting, is I would come to the board prepared with these in hand, which is what I did. It wasn't requested for me to send them prior, and so I didn't.
Yeah, there's
that was
for us to know and read within the time of tonight,
Oh, understood. Yeah, but that's not the way that it was said at the last meeting. But that's okay. Well, I agree with you that next time I'll be more diligent in that.
Okay. Any other discussion on the modification to the motion? Nope. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. If, Mr. Ponder, as you start getting this form developed for speed, can you send that out to the board members to review, to comment, and send back to you so that it can be consolidated? So that way, I'd really like for this one to move through in that timeline. It should just be, we should have that form in January as first read, February to adopt.
You could probably ask, like, if you said you saw one in Scottsdale, like, or ASBA, they may have one that we can start with.
If ASBA has one, the one from Scottsdale it confused me a little bit because when it said complainant, it listed roles that I didn't know what they were.
Okay.
So, but the idea of a single form complaint is fantastic.
So if the ASBA had one, wouldn't we have already seen it?
Not
What if
necessarily.
it's
They
not our
have,
policy?
yeah, our policy is tailored to us and the items that we want in it. So we can go through and take the 990 pages and reduce it down. It's our policy. They just are the administrators of it to make sure that our policy stays within statutes and regulations so that our policy passes, right?
Well,
Keeps us,
I only asked that because I went through the entire ASBA website. That's how I came up with these. I spent some grueling time going page for page for page on those 900 and something pages.
Right.
And I didn't see that. That's
They
why
do
I asked.
have some in our policy that nobody else has that's not on their webpage. So every district gets to tailor their policy. Doesn't mean that they're going to use what the district tailors it to and promote it on their webpage. It may be buried. So you may be able to go to another district and find their policy on something is written much different than ours. That's just the way they chose to put it together.
Okay, got it.
So it is hours administered by ASBA.
Got it.
So if you find fault in it, it's our fault. Not ASBA's.
Keith, I'm finding faults in it right here, okay?
And we're fixing it.
One other thing on the policy bridge too, as you go through it, if you see a policy that has the little C with the circle, the copyright, then
Yes.
that means that hasn't been adjusted at all from the way the ASBA wrote it based on the law. But if you see a policy that doesn't have it, then it's been changed specific to that district's requests.
Oh, nice.
So as you navigate that, you see that difference, you'll know that the wording there is specific to that district and what they wanted it to say.
All right.
That's
Good to know. Thank you.
Do those. All right, thank you. All right, moving on to 6.2, consideration to approve new bank account to be used by the Yuma School District Food Service Department. Ms. Walden, welcome back.
Thank you. Board President and Governing Board. Currently, the Yuma Elementary School District Food Service or Child Nutrition clearing bank account is open at National Bank. However, the rest of the district bank accounts are established at Wells Fargo. We are requesting the approval to open a new bank account with Wells Fargo and close the current account at National Bank. Consolidating our accounts under a single financial institution will streamline our financial operations, improve internal controls, and allow for more efficient movement and management of funds. This change will simplify accounting processes, reduce administrative workload, and enhance overall financial transparency. It is recommended that the governing board approve a new bank account to be opened for the Yuma Elementary School District Child Nutrition Food Service at Wells Fargo.
Question.
Yes.
Do we have any other accounts that may come forward like this?
No.
This is the
This
only
is the
one?
only one on the outside.
Okay. Thank you for that
I will
clarification.
move for the board to approve a new bank account to be opened for Yuma Elementary School District Child Nutrition Food Service at Wells Fargo.
Thank you.
I will second that.
All right, and moved by Ms. Rico, seconded by Mr. Stoner. Any discussion? Nope. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Oh, you're sticking around.
I am.
Item 6.3, consideration to approve the 2025-2026 budget revision. Ms. Walden.
Governing Board President and Governing Board, by statute, districts are required to prepare a December revised budget annually if the variance of the proposed budget exceeds certain thresholds. However, we were not required to do this December revision because we did not exceed those thresholds. We simply wanted to do the revision to incorporate the carry forward from the prior year and any of those ADM numbers from the prior year. Questions?
No. We have a motion?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the revised 2025-2026 budget as written.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. Stoner, seconded by Ms. Rico. Is there any discussion? No? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, item 7, future agenda items. I would like to request that we establish a time that the board can get together for a study session, specifically to talk about communication. Things along the lines of the Friday report, how well it's being utilized, how valuable it is. Just want to revisit that. We've used that format now for this school year so far. I think it's a good time to sit down and talk about what's working and what's not working, what we'd like to see changed. So this is just a heads up to the board members to start looking at your calendar for a time that we can sit down and I'm hoping that they'll reach out to us and say, okay, here's a few dates, let us know which ones will work for that. So we'll get that on there so we can reevaluate that and move forward. Mr. Ponder, are you willing to commit to a top-down audit of our curriculum, library books, teacher resources, professional development in the district to identify anything that promotes diversity, equity, inclusion mandates, social emotional learning frameworks rooted in identity politics, critical race theory, or gender ideology, and bring them to the board for immediate review.
Yeah, if I'd to take a list of that just to make sure I cover it all, but we can go through and look at those. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you. So we can look for those reports starting next year.
Yep.
And then when you've completed that, of course, I would appreciate that. Does anybody else have any future agenda items?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
All right.